Coming up on WUFT's First at 5, a local city going months without a complete and functioning government. The steps taken to get them back to full strength.
And a local horse seller under fire from national activists accused of putting the animals in danger. The timeline of events that led to criminal charges being filed.
And we're in the middle of a major warm-up. The UF weather team is tracking the rise in temperature and if we'll get some showers in your forecast. First at 5 starts right now.
First at 5 from the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications. You're watching WUFT News.
A local small town's government will soon be back in action after nearly all their commissioners resigned months ago. This is First at 5. I'm Kennedy Mason.
And I'm Serra. Sowers. Governor Ron DeSantis recently appointed 4 members to the McIntosh City Council. WUFT's Jake Lynch is live in the studio to explain how public official transparency laws kept city plans from moving forward.
The mayor of McIntosh has plans to use $250,000 to fix his town's pipes. The issue is he hasn't had a town council to vote on his plan since December. That is because 4 out of the 5 members of his council resigned right before having to fill out a transparency form. That form would have documented their personal finances. The town of McIntosh has about 450 residents who live along their alphabet-lined avenues. On Avenue I, you can find McIntosh Town Hall, Mayor Marshall Roddy, and 3 of his most trusted advisors.
Yeah, we have a lot of dogs.
What you will not find is a town council.
We've got some projects that we need to have votes on to help our community, and we just can't do it without a quorum.
Almost 5 months ago, 4 out of the 5 members of the McIntosh Town Council resigned. In an effort to resume normal processes, Governor Ron DeSantis has appointed replacements that are set to be sworn in tomorrow, April 16th.
They felt that it was intrusive, and they just didn't want to be exposed in that manner.
The council resignations came with their refusal to fill out this paper, Florida Ethics Form 6. Form 6 is where public officials would report their financial information, everything from salary to assets and liabilities over $1,000. This sparked contention as town council members in McIntosh and many other small charter towns are unpaid for their work. Behind me is McIntosh's town center. This is where town council meetings usually would happen. But Mayor Roddy told me that hasn't happened since last December. Regardless of who is in the town council seats, Mayor Roddy is ready to get work done. His town received $250,000 from the American Rescue Plan Act in order to help them update parts of their town.
Infrastructure projects, one of which is we want to replace the pipes in our town. They're old and they're breaking.
The mayor says that this new council will be in long enough to help them achieve their goals. Governor DeSantis' appointments are expected to remain in their positions until elections this November. If they wish to stay in the position after November, they will have to win that position with votes. Those that have previously resigned are invited to run again. Reporting live in the studio, Jake Lynch, WUFT News.
You may remember us telling you about a Trenton man who stole a large excavator from a Walmart in Gainesville last year. Today, he was sentenced to 10 years in prison on a first-degree felony grand theft charge. The 48-year-old man was identified as Jesse Charles Smith in September of 2023. Smith drove through several businesses before driving through the wall of a Butler Plaza Walmart. He then abandoned the excavator and entered the Walmart shirtless, holding a machete.
So he's in one of those like cat construction machines with the big claws. He took out part of the fence. He took out like 3 light poles. So yes, I don't know if he's drunk or if you could see what I'm seeing, this was not normal driving.
Smith's prison time will be followed by 10 years of probation with a condition to receive mental health evaluations. Smith testified he has a history of using methamphetamine and he went through a breakup the day of the incident.
We're taking a live look out on our DOT cams over Payne Prairie, where we can see people out enjoying another hot day. UF weather forecaster Matthew Clark joins us now to tell us why we should keep our sunscreen on hand.
Yeah, it is super important that you are wearing your sunscreen, especially tomorrow with a UV index of 9.2, and that is out of 11, which is very high. So if you're outside by the pool or doing any prolonged activities outside, it is crucial that you are wearing your sunscreen to avoid sunburns or even worse. Now, looking at the campus cam, you can see not a cloud in sight. Temperature on Kino's campus is 83 degrees. And just looking at that live satellite, not much is going on. Really not seeing much rain going on. Now the big thing is temperatures, 87 in Gainesville, 85 in Jacksonville, 87 in High Springs, and 86 in the Villages. Now inland we are seeing really high temperatures right now, up in the upper 80s. It's feeling really warm. Now just taking a look at that evening schedule, you can see we don't drop below the 80s until around 8, which begs the question, is it summer yet? And the short answer to that is no. We could see a slight cool down next week. I'll have that and more coming up.
A horse was killed in Ocala after colliding with a track barrier. WUFT's Lily Kino is live in the studio with what PETA is calling this horrific, unethical accident.
The horse was euthanized after being fatally injured at Ocala breeder sales 2-year-olds in training under tack show. PETA officials say these shows debut horses to potential buyers by making them sprint at record-breaking speeds, but often end in injury. We warn you that the following footage may be disturbing.
National nonprofit Equine Advocates founder Susan Wagner says horse racing feels less like a sport.
I just wish that everything wasn't so money oriented. You know, when you're not dealing with inanimate objects, you're not selling auto parts or cupcakes, you know, you're dealing with living, breathing creatures.
Froston's last moments were spent racing at an Ocala track. Last week, a PETA investigator was at Ocala breeder sales recording what they say was Froston's euthanization when they say OBS Director of Sales, Tom Wojciechowski, snatched a PETA investigator's bag during filming. Wojciechowski was later arrested for robbery. PETA's Senior Vice President, Kathy Guglielmo, says these shows place young horses without ample training in danger.
When they're inexperienced as they are, they're not used to being on a racetrack. They don't really know what's going on. You can see that it's when the rider strikes the horse with the whip that the horse becomes confused, apparently thinks he's supposed to jump over the railing at that point.
A horse died last year at the same event. We called OBS and asked if they wanted to speak on the matter. The person who answered responded, "I appreciate that, but no comment."
According to Horse Racing Wrongs, approximately 50 horses have died in Florida so far this year during training or racing. Live in the studio, Lily Kino, WUFT News.
Marion County Fire Rescue responded to an Ocala field fire early this morning. Around 5 a.m., a 911 caller reported hearing 2 loud explosions before seeing multiple sheds and her surrounding field caught on fire. A total of 5 sheds, including a large storage building, caught fire just west of the airport near 80th Avenue. Crews were able to attack and bring the fire under control in less than an hour. The cause of the fire is still being investigated.
Gainesville Regional Airport is increasing flights for one of their most popular destinations just in time for summer. Thanks to American Airlines, GNV will now offer 2 nonstop flights for Dallas-Fort Worth through June and July. In addition to their existing afternoon flights, Gainesville has brought back their nonstop morning flight, which departs at 5:45 a.m. Airport CEO Alan Penska says the increase will provide travelers with the options and flexibility they have been longing for. These nonstop services are available for travelers starting June 5th.
Changes are coming for how public comment is received at Ocala City Council meetings. Council members are allocating time for public comment at the end of each meeting to talk about items that were not originally on the agenda. Public comment for agenda items will be held before council members vote on those changes. Neighbors will be able to speak for up to 3 minutes. This is the last week for Ocala neighbors to submit feedback on the city. Residents can complete a pulse and mapping survey to explain areas of the city that they believe need improvement. City leaders will use the feedback to create a roadmap for future plans of improvements for city residents. You can find these surveys on the City of Ocala's website.
Coming up on WUFT First at 5, we'll tell you all about a nonprofit hub growing more than just plants.
We'll tell you about the magic they're nursing within the community when First at 5 returns.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
A Gainesville nonprofit is supporting the lives of adults living with disabilities.
WUFT's Amanda Rubio explains how Grubhub is making a difference, one job at a time.
Kyle Smith has been a member of Grubhub staff for 7 years. He is usually found at the front desk, greeting visitors and checking customers out. But for Kyle, being Grubhub's sales manager is much more than a job.
It gives me a place to be and I enjoy it. It's not work.
Grubhub strives to create meaningful job opportunities for adults with disabilities. It was created to address the lack of trust businesses have in the abilities of disabled adults. But Grubhub is working to change that narrative.
This is an option. It's not the answer. There's lots of other options that could be out there with other businesses. It's just a matter of getting them to where they buy into the mission.
Grubhub's nursery is where all the magic happens. From pollinators to Florida natives, there are plenty of plants for customers to choose from.
Behind me is a small section of the 80 acres of forested land Grubhub sits on. The nursery and gardens are maintained by Grubhub's dedicated nursery and grounds assistants.
Nursery and grounds assistants who are always excited to make customers feel welcome. Amanda Rubio, WUFT News.
The results are in for law students who took the bar exam in February. The Florida bar exam is given only twice a year, once in February and another in July. Almost 600 students took the exam for the first time, with 56% passing. Of those, 19 UF Levin College of Law students took the exam, 63% passed. Last year, UF's law school had an 80% pass rate for students taking the exam for the first time, almost 20% more than the current rate. Out of all Florida law schools, Florida International University had the highest passing rate.
A landmark Gainesville Arts Festival returns for its 52nd year. Santa Fe College hosted its annual Spring Arts Festival over the weekend. The event featured artists from around the country, live music, and food trucks. This year's festival was located near Santa Fe College's Jackson N. Sasser Fine Arts Hall. The event is normally held at the college's Oak Grove, but college leaders say the move increased access to the festival for artists and attendees.
You get to feature local businesses and have community partnerships. So overall, I think it's massively beneficial, and we just love to have this role in the city of Gainesville.
Students from Santa Fe College were among the vendors at the festival. The items on sale included sketches, jewelry, and digital art.
Alachua city leaders are looking for volunteers to help with an annual cleanup event. Alachua's Great American Cleanup is on May 4th, starting at 8:30 in the morning. Volunteers of all ages are encouraged to participate, as there will be projects for a wide range of different skills. Breakfast and lunch will be provided for all volunteers, and event organizers will bring all the cleaning tools you'll need. If interested in volunteering, neighbors should meet at City Hall at 8 a.m.
Coming up, I'll talk about how those temperatures are climbing into the 90s for the first time this year. Upcoming Friday, I'll talk about these high temperatures and more coming up.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Beautiful Monday afternoon looking overhead on our campus cam. You can see not really a cloud in sight. Temperatures in the low 80s, which not a lot of shade to avoid that high heat. And you can just see on that satellite that there's really not much going on over there as terms of cloud cover. Now you can see that these temperatures are higher right now. 87 in Gainesville, 85 in Jacksonville, 87 in High Springs, and 86 down in the Villages. Now these temperatures are pretty warm right now. You can see 76 over in Cedar Key. It's because they're getting a little bit of a sea breeze over there, but inland we are feeling the temperatures really high. Now Friday you can see temperatures in the 90s, 91 Gainesville, Jacksonville, High Springs, and the Villages. These temperatures are very high, and you can see that there's the first time this year that we're starting to see these 90s, and it's only going to really go up from there. Now just taking a look at that hour by hour though on our Monday evening, temperatures going to start to drop into the lower 60s. However, you can see that with the high heat and the summer kind of coming back, that it's going to be relatively muggy outside. Now if you plan on going to the pool tomorrow or doing anything outside, you're going to want to make sure you wear your sunscreen with a UV index of 9.2. Now this is out of 11, so the UV index is very high. Temperature going to be reaching around 89 degrees. So just make sure you're wearing sunscreen to avoid getting sunburnt or anything. Now just taking a look at that dew point though, which is the humidity in the atmosphere, relatively constant across your week, reaching up into the 60s on our Thursday. However, it's going to feel muggy as you head outside. It's also going to feel very warm. Now, checking in on that pollen forecast, it's high. It is very high as we head into this week, and this weekend it's going to become very high. So if you are taking part of outside activities, you can make sure that you want to be on those allergy medicines, really just avoiding the pollen for the most part. Now looking at that 7-day, you can see those 90s on Friday and Saturday. The low temperatures are in the upper 60s, but the high temperatures is where it's really heavy hitting. Now on Sunday, we do have a slight chance of rain that could cool us down as we head into the Monday. However, it feels like summer's coming back with temperatures really high up in the 80s and 90s.
Coming up in sports, Florida's annual Orange and Blue Spree Game headlined newcomers and debuted freshman quarterback DJ Lagway. In true Florida fashion, the game came down to the wire. I'll bring you all that and more after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome to sports. I'm Kaylann Sims. This Saturday, Florida played in their annual Orange and Blue spring football game. Florida fans were excited to see the debut of UF freshman quarterback DJ Lagway. UF QB1 Graham Mertz says Lagway is putting the world on notice.
I'm sitting on my sideline, because I can hear the plays that they're calling through the headset. So I'm sitting there watching. I'm making his read. I'm all right, DJ. I'm wait, no, he's on the other team. I can't be cheering for him right now. But I think he did a fantastic job.
The game was tied in the first quarter, but the Orange team managed to score a touchdown and a field goal, making the score 17-10 at halftime. In the third quarter, both offenses stalled. Ultimately, the win for the blue team came off the leg of junior Trace Mack kicking a 37-yard field goal to give the blue squad the victory. Florida will open up the regular season August 31st at home against the Miami Hurricanes. Number 9 Gators softball fell to number 14 Missouri in a weekend series. In the series opener, the Gators and the Tigers battled with Florida leading, but in the 6th inning, Missouri rallied, scoring 4 runs and taking the win 6-3. Starting off Game 2, the Gators put up 2 runs in the first inning, but Missouri fought back in the 2nd and 3rd inning, taking the lead 5-2. For the series finale, the Gators defeated the Tigers 3-1. The Gators will continue the SEC action against South Carolina Friday. Number 24 Gator baseball didn't fare much better against South Carolina at home in some more SEC action. In the series opener, the Gators and the Gamecocks were tied up until the 5th inning. The Gamecocks rallied in the 9th inning, putting up 5 runs and took home the win 10-3. Game 2 of this series was a late rally, with Florida coming up short to South Carolina by 1 run. In the series finale, Florida put up 5 runs in the 2nd and the 6th inning to take home the victory 11-9. Florida will continue the action tomorrow night, hosting Jacksonville University at 6:30. Gators women's basketball star Leilani Correa is looking to get drafted in the WNBA draft alongside players like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Correa has had an outstanding senior season here at Florida, winning SEC 6th Woman of the Year honors. She posted a season-high 33 points and win over Ole Miss and matched a career-high 5 steals versus Vanderbilt. Correa also had 3 consecutive 30-plus point games and notched 2,000 career points against Ole Miss with a 10-point performance. The WNBA draft takes place tonight at 7:30. Former Gators tennis player Ben Shelton has become the highest-ranked American male tennis player, sitting at a ranking of number 14 in the world.
And right before we go, Ocala's very own Michael Seagoben is one of the final 7 contestants still standing on Fox's Master Chef Jr. He is the son of Marion County Fire Rescue Lieutenant Dean and Amanda Seagoben. In a Facebook post today, fire rescue officials promoted the 11-year-old to the role of MCFR's Master Chef as he treated to Wyresdale Station team Surf and Turf for lunch. They're asking their neighbors to support Michael and as he chases his culinary dreams. After a 2-week hiatus, Master Chef Jr. returns tonight. You can watch Michael starting at 8 on Fox.
Well, I know what I will be tuning into tonight. That's so exciting for him. I think I'm a pretty good chef. Definitely couldn't be on Master Chef, but I can make some amazing baked ziti. Baked ziti, sorry.
I can't cook at all, but what can you cook?
I can cook up the weather. It's some high temperatures. You can see Friday and Saturday we're reaching the 90s. To start our week, we're consistently in the upper 80s with a slight drop off as we head into next week.
And thanks for joining us. We're back here tomorrow for another edition of First at 5.
But your North Central Florida news is always on at WUFT.org and all of our social media platforms. Have a great night.